Hello, wild ones. Welcome to Wild and Well Together. This is Fan Friday. It is a fun day for me because I have a friend of Nick's on here. You want to go by Mr. Hohe, Kevin, Semperfi? What do you want to go by?
I wanna go by Kevin. Kevin sounds like a
Kevin.
great name.
It is a great name. And Kevin and Nick went to see you. I went to see you as well, but didn't know Kevin there. And so where we've come to is I'll give background for you, Kevin. Wild and Well Together started this over the summer in this capacity to say in the digital era, how do we find commonalities? How do we find wellness? And how do we also still have it fun? My background's in mental health and school counseling. And a lot of times the work that we do or that we've done is heavy and it needs to be good work done. However, mental wellness can be as fun as physical wellness. So that was the impetus to start this. Technology is the way of the world. So how do we use it for good? How do we then unplug and say, all right, let's go have fun with friends. Let's go build community. Let's have hard conversations if we need to. Let's have fun conversations. Most of us land here in the middle. Even if we have differing beliefs, we still fall in the middle as far as respect and all of that. And so, how one online do we bridge that to show there's enough of us middle 90ers, whatever you want to call us, that middle percent? And then when we're offline, how do we have a ton of fun to just unplug and be and play like we did when we were kids and young adults? So, that's the background. That's the impetus for why Wild and Well started together. Tell me where are you at? What's brought you into this space of jumping back online?
The similarities are kinda crazy, and I've been using this term universal wisdom, and it's, like, kinda like the theology that just keeps coming up, like, it's kinda undeniable, it's universally true. So let me answer the question succinctly. Like, I think what's really interesting is that you're on this campaign and I'm on this campaign, and since college, I've been campaigning to work with your husband, and he's always shown me the door politely. So I find it to be uncoincidental, and I stopped believing in coincidences when I found Jesus. But I'd say, look myself in the mirror after college. I had done really well at school, which was a fluke. I just got straight A's, and then I didn't let go of them. I'm not smarter than most people, but it was stupid. It was a waste of time. C's get degrees. That should have been the way I would have, but whatever. I'd gotten involved with business, and I don't know when I got sure of myself, but it was like wealth is certain for me. Uh, Level and range is uncertain, but it's like I know that I'll be successful and I know that I can figure things out. And I just never wanted to look in the mirror and be disappointed. And I've watched people without money have great joy, and I've watched people with billions don't feel like they have enough money to hire people. And I'm like, this is insane. Like this is a totally and so yeah, and so that really was my story. Like I don't want to ever be a greedy, selfish prick. If I'm worried about buying my next plane, a boat, whatever, my third house, and like I haven't brought the bottom up. Who am I? I don't want to. That's just nobody I want to be. So I've taken great measures in my life to never be money driven as an idol, the thing. And I've been studying humans extremely curiously. I don't know what you feel about curiosity, but I think curiosity
Huge.
is the kind of the signature to all solutions. Like it solves everything. And like, oh, what was he talking about? Just approach people compassionately curious. Like don't get mad. You don't have to get angry anymore. But so just studying humans, studying the way of the world, and you hear me say it, holy discontent. It's like for me to start what I call it the reckoning. I invite people to the reckoning for good. It's let's go reckon with all the things that are evil, and we unknowingly participate with our clicks, with our attention. I won't go into that as I emerge out of strictly being a fence contractor that's acquired a certain level of success. I don't know what you call it, but here's a new way to think. Period. End of sentence. Like if you want to stop being mad, hey, guess what? Stop being mad.
Yeah.
Just stop. So the thing I would say is I think it'll be really cool to stack hands. So where's wellness in this equation? Like where is the questions that you should be answering to find out mentally, spiritually, and emotionally how well are you really? How aligned with yourself are you? And the world is misaligned because we're chasing dollars. So here I am getting online. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, welcome. Welcome back to the ecosystem that it is. Nick is offline. I am online. And so that's been something that we dance to because of my background in mental health. We've said, how do we allow the joys and the hopes and the existences that we have offline to permeate online? Because we live in these echo chambers online and we will still even operate in that, you and I, as we say, hey, how do we build good into the world? I just saw Dancing with the Stars Wicked last night. Call it what it is. That's one of my sweet pleasures I've come to like in adulthood. But they
Good.
did Wicked. One of the things is for good. I think about that and I'm like, okay, whether you're in Wyoming or Beijing or Central America or wherever, how do we allow people to live freely, which is where the wild came in? I want other people to find freedom. I want them to find freedom from the barriers that they have and the constraints that we have in our own minds. I want us to find freedom from the thoughts that we have about ourselves and the emotions that we hold, because our generation was taught, go do everything, be everything, you can do it all. And in that, we missed, hey, go do something for other people. Go find what makes you come alive, a really purpose driven existence. And because we didn't have the constraints of we can only go down one or two paths, like previous generations before us, it was, oh, I'll do whatever. And then in that came the emotional side of feel whatever then. And just sit in the hard, just sit in the negative, just sit in the sad, just sit in the angry, to your point. Just, it's okay to be angry, just be angry. And then, whoa, if I'm honest with myself, I feel like crap at the end of the day. And I don't want people to feel like crap. I want people to find like meaning, see the beauty, see community. And so that's why it's well together. This idea of wellness, yes, matters. This idea of wild, how can we be free? And then together, we are social beings. We were designed to be in community. And so, how do we do that? You call it the silent 90. I believe in that. Ironic part is that rally over there, that's hoping for the same outcome as this rally over here.
Yeah.
And yet, I see a lot of aggression. And so, how do I come back and take a deep breath and say, hey, y'all, my name's Becca. You want to go kick it? You want to go for a hike? You want to go throw a football? What do y'all want to do? And so, that's my space to come in and say, how do we build out a community that does take investment as far as people saying, I want to be a part of this? I want to create rhythms and rituals that are life giving to myself and those that I care about. And then also the common man. So tell me, in your discovery and inquiry, you got into the philosophical side. What are some practical, tactical tools that you're starting to think about and starting to brainstorm through?
Yeah, and I told you before we started, it's like it's gonna be hard for me to not try to steal your show from you. So if I ever do that, you let me know. But I want to hear more about Wild and Well Together. I want to ask you if you ever realize the word "together" to get there is embedded in "together." Almost named my whole holding company "Together" because to get there we have to go together.
Come on, speak
It's
this. That's
it's
good.
all in one word. It's right in there. But yeah, I think on topic which I'm hyper ADD, by the way. But rhythms and rituals, you prompted with that, and I was like, oh gosh, like I'm not equipped to talk about this, but I think I am. I think we all are, right? I went to school. I went to school as a confirmed Lutheran non-believer, found Jesus, and then right, been reading the Bible every day since, and that's been awesome. I found him in church and went to church, and church just never did it for me. I was always anti-church, so we can save that or get into that later. I still am. I get in a lot of trouble for that with the Christian community, but that was big for me. Was always having that quiet time. Whether it was beginning or the end of the day, to sit down and be in the Word, sit with the guy, get to know him through the Scripture, and that works really well for me. I've never been like super prayerful. Try to pray before night, but like, I lost a good buddy, and we his thing where he always like I would pray awkwardly at meals, and then he kind of carried that forward. And so when he passed away, I said like it doesn't matter who I'm sitting with, like we will always say grace before we eat. But the most interesting ritual is the one that we run to escape. I think everybody has it, right? And so for me, I'm an extremist. I'm a total thrill seeker. And if I'm not on the verge of something that could hurt me, like I'm not comfortable. So you got to be racing around the dirt bike track or run around the mountain on a two-stroke, just gripping it. Snowmobiles, all of it. It was snowboarding in college, and you grow out of that, and it's backcountry snowmobiling, and it's dirt biking. And though they're great, like I still love them. They had become intertwined with my identity, as did hard work. I really had to deconstruct that. And I don't know how that came. I do know how that came to be. I don't know how the ritual relates, but I'd say every human should hit their breaking point so that they can reconstitute them as the way that they want to be. And so my identity was all in hard work. And then my beard was, I would escape. After I reconstructed myself as not just hard work, like my hard work can stay, but that's a part of me, not the essence of me. And so that was big. And then I'm like looking at this, like, why I would get upset if I didn't get my 30 days a year on the snowmobile. What the hell are you doing? Like that, what are you doing? And so I still love it, right? I love it, but now I enjoy doing it when I get to do it rather than like being obsessed over it. So that would be the big one. And then I think the thing for I would say like if there's a spectrum of like normal, I would be on a nine-ish out of 10 on extreme, maybe eight. I don't know. I don't need to backflip things, but like very extreme. And now what I've come to find is true is like you can have the same experience through meditative practice if you just go meditate. And I don't understand. I'm not good at it. I used to just say that I couldn't do it. Now I can do it. I'm not a daily meditator, but I think meditating is a prompt for state of being. So that would be my guiding light, from dirt bikes to sitting in the yard, folding your legs and breathing a little bit. Like I don't do it every day, but it's crazy to even be the one saying that, right? Right? I would have never
Yeah.
thought that this was me telling you that. So that's what I know about ritual.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that because you've brought in an idea of deconstruction and also can't put you in a box, Kevin. Here's this dirt biker. Does he actually know spirituality? And I think that's what we need is more of our stories to come out to say, hey, you can't put me in a box. And I don't want to put you in a box. And in fact, I want to remain curious. One of the things that we say is in our household, and it's come out now with Wild and Well Together, is wonder. How do I keep that curiosity? We use the word wonder of I wonder how this would work because as soon as I put myself in that space of questioning, of curiosity, of an engagement that is not just a statement, but rather a question. I'm ready to take on whatever comes. And it's almost an extreme release of control because I actually am much more adventurous too. And so that's part of me saying yes to this podcast. But in the control part is me taking my hands back and saying, all right, whatever comes my way, we're going to figure it out. And I have little control in that. And that's really scary in some moments. And also, it's all right, let's go. So whether it's physical control, emotional control, or releasing the mental control, that's awesome. And mindfulness allows for that too. So thank you for allowing listeners and myself to hear, hey, it doesn't just have to be go, go, go on the mountain. I can also come back and just chill and find some respite. Or on the flip side, I don't just have to be this like Zen human who never cusses, who only thinks about butterflies and clouds and like I can go do stuff. That's what I'm hearing you say too. And so I appreciate that because it allows the few narratives that are being told really loudly right now to start to soften and say, hey, let's get to know each other. Let's do life together.
Yes. So do you see I feel like we're on the precipice of a bit of an awakening. Can you feel that? Like, I feel like for the last 7 years, it was pretty doom and gloom. I think this conversation is probably evidence of it, honestly. But do you sense that in the world, or do you think it's more perilous?
No, I think it's there. Oh, the reason I chose to be brave and step into the public sphere of podcasting, of posting to socials, of all of that is because I have the privilege of holding space in the mental health world where I hear one-on-one, cross ages, across races, across nations, truly, people saying, I want to be seen. I want to have fun in life. I want to put food on my table for my family. I want to find meaning. Outside of that, whatever may come. So, because I've been able to have the privilege of having this one on one often, it's like, oh my gosh, all of us are operating silently. And so, my hope is that this podcast gives permission and your pod gives permission to people say, hey, we're not alone. Hey, I'm not going to scream at you. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to cut you down for your thoughts, especially when they're different than mine. I'm going to ask questions because I'm super curious. And we might
Yeah.
go toe to toe in some things, but I'm not going to hurt you and I'm not going to cut you down because I respect you because you're another human. And so I think that's the precipice that we're on is that some of us who have been silent, because truthfully, I was like, hey, I'll do me as long as you're not hurting me. Like you're good to go. That sort of mentality. And now I'm like, no, 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 no. There's a piece that I want to carry alongside other people, yourself and other people who want to join to say our collective wellness and the fun within that needs to exist and it needs to start being the primary narrative because we're all whispering it behind the scenes. We're just
Yeah.
not bringing it out into the public sphere.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on that? That it's existed, but in subdued way or individual way, and it needs to now come into the mainstream.
Yeah. What is it, right? Has it existed? I think I'm like really, I want to be, I want to be really careful to answer the question that you're asking and not go on my own tangent. So I like,
No, go
I
on
think
your
it's important.
tangent. Go.
Yeah, well, I think it's yeah, and I appreciate the venue for sure. Like when you sent me 30, 45 minutes, I was like, Becca, like we're going 60, 90. Like there's no chance. There's no chance that this
All right, we
goes
can have a
34.
part one, part two. I love that.
Hey, whatever your schedule will tolerate, or maybe we'll drag you onto mine and we can do part two or whatever the case
There
may
we
be.
go.
But I really would like to talk to you about the business side of it and where you see the movement going because I have a wonderful movement planned. That's like It's like the ultimate for me. So it's funny. And like send me your address. I want to send you my challenge coin because it's like right on the barrel of my tank is like wonder to win. Like, and I think it's all in wonder. But so yeah, answering your question, was it here? Was it not there? So I've really deconstructed the foundational faith belief, this idea that we're sad, miserable sinners. No, I think we've been in Eden the whole time. I think we've been in Eden the whole time, and we've missed the mark. We misinterpreted, and we are confused, and we get so stuck in our beliefs that are truths, which are irreconcilable. If it's true, you don't need belief, right? Faith is belief in something unknown. So we get all hung up on the singular truth, the objective truth. We don't recognize that that's unascertainable if not for our subjective realities. The Muslim's truth could be the same thing as the Christian's truth under a different advertisement, whatever. So is it there? So what is it, right? And I think and you're talking about wellness, I'm talking about human flourishing. What is best for the human? It is certainly not to go blow each other off the face of the earth with nukes. I don't know what round of right that is, but I'm like, I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
And for me, it is unstoppable if we don't recalibrate, right? And so if you ask me, has it been there? Has it not been? I'm like, I think we just got confused. You can look at the history in Bible and out of Bible, and it's the story of the people getting confused. They get back and get aligned, and then they get confused again. And so I think we're at the bottom of that trough of confusion. This is what it looks like when you worship science, you worship truth, you worship money, you worship lust, and you get all up. Like this is what it looks like. You wonder why we're all you do. Why is the world the way that it is? I don't know. Like we're worshiping money, and then when we have enough money, all we're worried about is keeping the money that we work so hard to get, and then what did it do us? Absolutely nothing. So you're lost, confused, and angry. And so, what is it? The way to maximize the human existence? Like, I think he came and showed us how to live life and life to the full. I think it is a sacrificial story insofar as he came to demonstrate how to love the world and we killed him for it. He was willing to surrender his life. It's a story of not sacrifice, surrender. Surrender all that is not love, and there you will find joy. We're original sin, right? Well, what is sin? Sin, separation from God. It's not a set of rules that you break, it's separation from God. And when did we first draw the line of separation? Is when we ate from the tree of knowledge because we're smart. Now we know what is good and bad. Now we know we're naked. And then we want clothes, and then we want shoes, and then we want a house, and then we want an iPhone, and then we want a truck and three trucks, six dirt bikes later. And like you want, and you want, and you want, and you want. And guess what? Like you need to surrender all of that and say, hey, none of that is important. I just want to be in alignment with my God and myself. I want to be in love with myself so I can go emit love into the world. So yeah, it's never been gone. We just forgot. We just forgot. We just forgot. And we got our priorities screwed up.
That's it right there, and I have yet to name it confusion, and that is resonating with me. It's throwing some of the dogmas away, the advertisements you said, and saying, "Hey, actually, when I convene with myself and the spiritual engagement with me and God, or me sitting in this space, how then do I allow myself to understand that I come with nothing and I end my life with nothing?" Whenever whatever the span I get in between, that's what I get to choose. There's no gray. I'm either alive or I'm dead. And so if I'm alive, how am I going to maximize that? And it's this idea. So Snoopy says, he's talking to Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown says, "You only live once." And Snoopy says, "No, you only die once. You live every day." And that is profound to me. And how many of us are actually living every day? How many of us are actually giving permission to ourselves and to the community to say, hey, we can do life and life to the full? And so I love that you brought in Eden, because there's many theologians, but one of them talks about this idea of here, kingdom on earth. Like we don't have to wait for eternity. Who knows what that actually looks like? Bring it here and maximize it for others. And so that YOLO, yes, it can be like, YOLO, I'm going to do a backflip off this 20-foot cliff on my snowboard, right? Like that's not my style. My style, though, is, hey, how do I see someone and say what's up? Or how do I
Yeah.
allow those around me to see sunlight rather than shade? And when I have those moments when I am struggling, I do have my inner circle. So I don't want to say it's all rainbows and, again, unicorns. For me, it's how do we build out that inner community? So when life is hard, when death happens in the family, when there is cancer in the family, when there is divorce, when there's whatever, that I can say, hey, I have people rallying around me and it's really authentic and we're doing life together. And then when it's not those hard moments, or even through those hard moments, I'm trusting that I can live life and live life well. And that I don't have to suffer in pain when I don't have pain. When I have pain, yes, I need to do it. But we are living in a masochistic world where we're trying to create pain for ourselves.
Yeah.
Why? Why? In counseling, that's psychotic. And yet we do it on a more superficial level, day in and day out, saying, I need to feel wrong that I'm actually enjoying life. I need to feel bad that I'm actually enjoying life. No, we need to change that narrative. We need to say, hey, let's live life well. And again, when pain comes, yeah, then we address it and we move through that hard. So that's one piece. And then the second that I would say to you is we have a tagline for Wild and Well Together, and it's moments becoming movements. That is our goal, is that we would have these moments where we lift our head up and say, okay, what's up? And then slowly or quickly, we'll see what society allows for. We then say, hey, this is a movement for people to live life and live life well, live life to the full.
That's rad. That's yeah, I mean, it's great. It's just that universal wisdom. You didn't say it, but I just wrote it. Is just go love recklessly, right? Like just go love
Mm.
recklessly and then everything else is okay. Have you found yourself able to you mentioned kind of the I like seasons. I love this moments to movement, so I like wanna know more, but I think I get it. Are you able if I said a blanket statement, which is actually I learned was a little bit offensive, if you will. You could argue that everything we just talked about is offensive, which is wild, which is totally wild. And like, I don't know if you heard my manifesto, but I like went on a rant, probably too many F words. Did you hear it? The
You put out on
manifest?
your Instagram.
Oh, no, you haven't heard it. Yeah, the full one, it's a 20, 30 minute. I went on a rant. I had to put it behind a paywall because my friend called me. He was like, you sound like Grant Cardone. And like people got offended, whatever.
No, I have not heard that manifesto then. Okay.
Uh,
Please send it, right? Because even if I disagree with you, I still want to know you and I still want to know about you. And so, like, hey, send it. And if I'm like, that's too many efforts, I'll plug my ears. Like, I'm an adult. Or I'll just let it fly. And if it's too offensive to me, then I need to dig into myself of why is it offensive?
right.
And then you and I have a conversation privately of why it's offensive to me, not so I can blast you or not so I can hurt you. That does zero good.
Have you found, again, this is offensive, but he works all things for good. That sounds like a fairy tale, but like the actual truth of it is like the bad moments are the defining there's only good that comes in all the extreme circumstances. Like when you choose to channel yourself in a positive way, it'll be very hard, like if we lose a child or the extreme cases of like sickness, but there is some beauty in like the ability to like would you say that that's a stretch too far, that there's no such thing as a bad moment if only we take the right mindset, or how would you reconcile that?
I think there are hard moments, bad moments, negative moments, really horrific things. Like I've yet to find a beauty in cancer. Full send, I think cancer sucks. I think there's nothing good of cancer in its entity. However, because of community, because of access to medicine, because of health and the body response, and because of God's grace and food practically coming. Why I say that is people have heard like Nick went through cancer. And so that's the most recent thing. That was another impetus for us doing this and me saying yes to the pod is we walk through cancer of a 34-year-old man who doesn't smoke, drink. I do way more things than this man. And he is the epitome of healthy and then has to get a partial nephrectomy. So I think cancer is a moment that the moment that we learned that he had cancer, that sucked. I can use that example where Nick was healed fully. I've also been surrounded by people who've died. That's like the ultimate pain for me is losing someone who I love. I've been around that and I've made it through. And I think that's the piece that any moment that we talk about, if we still have breath in our lungs, we are reminded that life is okay or even good because we can make it through. And so I do think that there are some things that are just negative, harsh, bad in themselves. Children being taken advantage of. There's nothing good about that. Cancer, there's nothing good about that. Starvation, there's nothing good about that. So I do think that there's practical things that there's just bad. However, those are things, not people. So that's what I want to distinguish is things in the world are bad. Then how people operate and respond to it, that has the opportunity for healing, has opportunity for joy, has opportunity for health and wellness and all those things. That's why I believe in that inmates, if true healing happens, that there can be freedom for them. If true healing can happen in anyone's life in any regard, I do believe in redemption. That's what I believe the story of Christ is. No, to your question, I do think that bad moments happen. Bad things exist. There's also the opportunity for reconciliation, for healing, for redemption. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Amen. I wouldn't press on anything. I'd only ask you one question. So, arguably, you've been through something. Is there anything about your history that you would undo?
No, I'm a better human because of it.
So it's all good. So there was no net bad. I don't mean to say that I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I think the entity of cancer is trash. Like I'm with you. Like we should seek to solve for that. But
Maybe that's it. I don't wanna abandon I want a world where children are not taken advantage of. I want a world where cancer does not exist. It's interesting that you said that. Would I change what we've been through? No, I wouldn't change it. However, do I think life could have been just as good had he not gone through it? Yeah, I do.
have you seen the demonstration of the question would be like, you can have $10 million, but you won't wake up tomorrow. What do you want the 10 million or want to wake up tomorrow? It's like, oh, it's worth $10 million to wake up. The interesting thing is I have yet to meet anybody, and I'd like to ask these questions. Like, if you could just do over one thing, what would you go back and guess what? Nobody wants to change a thing. Literally, everybody loves their life so much that they wouldn't change it. It's interesting. It's just interesting. I don't think it's indicative or anything else, but we do actually cherish deep down inside of ourselves and our subconscious. We cherish exactly where we are and everything that brought us to this moment. And then we walk around spitefully for some. It's just interesting.
That's the interesting part. What I'm wrestling with as I create this and continue to work in the sphere of mental health is why does resilience get created in some and built out and flexed? Because I do think it's attainable for anyone. Why is that built out in some and not in others? And so I think that that's an interesting question for us to get down to the road. I don't want to get derailed by that, but why does certain things happen and we'd still like to live the life we did? It's because that's who we know. We know ourselves. And my family right now lives a much healthier lifestyle than we did a year ago. My family cares about each other a whole lot more than we did a year ago. We've let go of some of the frivolous things because why? To what extent do we need it? And then don't get me wrong, we still have a lot to learn. I hope to live another 80 years so I can learn all the things I want to and more. And and see my babies grow old. Like I want that for them and I want that for myself. And so your question of like, would I trade? I want to trade $1 billion because I want to be with my kids and my husband. I want there's not enough money in this world.
Yeah.
So I love that question. And then the flip side is if someone says yes, I would take that, then that's the few that then needs the significant mental health. And that's when we say, oh, most of us actually wouldn't trade it. For the percentage or two that would, okay, great. That's our bandwidth now for saying, how do we get you the supports? How do we rally around you as a community to say your life is still worth living? It's not worth trading that money for your life. And that's the silent weight that more men carry than women. And that's also why a rhythm of Wild and Well Together is Mondays are female, counterpart, Jen is her name. Wednesdays are one of my best friends since kindergarten. His name is John. And we go into he said, she said, because men and yourself and your community and Nick carry a silent weight that we women just don't know. And so how do we allow life to be breathed into that too? To say, hey, if you want to go get that $1 million paycheck, go get that $1 million paycheck. If that's 100,000 for you, go get it. That's not a bad thing to want. Simultaneously, while you're striving for that, what's the health? What's the wealth? What's the life in the here and now? And what's that tension that men hold that is silent and not shared? And how do we find healing? One of the phrases I love most is for men, especially, I hope you find healing for the things you don't talk about. Because men carry a lot of weight. Women do too. And I get into that and we share that. But for this space, men carry a lot of weight that is just not shared. And it doesn't need to be verbal necessarily, but healing needs to happen. And so I hope that that's the community that I'm trying to build out and love that you want to be a part of it. Like, I think there are a lot of joint parallels of, hey, how do we stack hands? What's to come? I don't know, but I'm stoked. Like, I live out of abundance. And so, Kevin, I hope you and your beautiful wife and whoever may come in your family and those that you love dearly have so much life. And if it aligns with ours, great. If it doesn't, great. I still hope and wish that for you. So then now how do we bring it back to the practical, tactical tools to build out that community, to offer resources to people to say, let's do this life well and let's have some fun doing it.
Yeah. Amen. I would love to have you on because, like, what I've been doing, and I want to park it because we're not going to do it in 10 minutes. But first, I want to know. So you are a therapist?
Yep.
Okay.
So right now, so I can be mom first, I'm at the University of Denver as an adjunct and then now
Okay.
building this out. But yeah,
And
that's where
then
my license is at.
I'm gonna call it WWT. I think you already call it that, right? WWNT. Are you doing like a circle? Can you tell me a little bit about it? And I'm sorry if I should have done my homework. I didn't read the
No,
sheet. I'm a
that's
rule
okay.
breaker by trade. So yeah, tell me what the goal is. Tell me what we're doing.
I love that. You're putting me on the spot. We haven't announced this to anyone, so this is here it goes. 5 years out, it would be that we would have chapters all over the country that or even world that people would say, "We wanna gather together. We want to make this world a better place, and here's practical tools." So that is 5 year. To get there though is we have a term called 60 seconds to centered. It's this idea that in 60 seconds, I can ground myself, I can find peace, I can find calm, I can bring my cortisol levels down, I can increase my dopamine and my serotonin. Like, it can get really nerdy in the science behind it, but it's 60 seconds to centered. This idea of my systems can be calm. Breath work and mindfulness, and it works. It works. How do we allow people to truly operate and use that? Just like grabbing a drink of water. Oh, I go grab a drink of water. Oh, I also need to take a deep breath because I need my system to regulate. So the here and now is building out this podcast. My reason though for the why is to do 100 episodes. There is a Japanese term called masogi. A masogi is this idea that I have a 50-50 chance of succeeding. It started as physical and it might be hiking, maybe it's running a marathon tomorrow. I told Nick I don't feel like doing a physical activity. However, I've operated for so long in the private side. How do I say I'm going into the public sphere? I'm going to release 100 episodes over a 7-month period and see, can it take off? Are there enough people that believe in the wellness of the world and the wellness within themselves to do some fun stuff and the podcast take off? So this is my Masogi. Wild and Well Together, my commitment is saying for 100 episodes, I'm going to put more light in the world than I'm going to put shade. And here we go.
Game on. How many? Because it's a gauntlet. Just so you know, I just
It is a gauntlet. And that's why I want to do it because it also shows resilience for myself as an individual practice. Am I showing up to something I believe in so deeply outside of my husband, my children? And it goes in that order. Women, if you're listening, it goes husband first or partner first, then children. I will say that over and over again. S- Spouses come first, partners come first.
wait. Where's self? Does it go self husband?
What'd you say?
So where's self in that?
Oh, self comes first.
Yeah,
Self
okay,
comes
got
first
it.
in relationship to others. Sorry. So self comes first in relationship to others. Partner, then kids. But for a lot of us women, kids come first and then it ruins our marriage. So kids come second to the parent. Then this is my third baby though now is saying, how do I breathe life? How do I show up for Wild and Well Together community? Let's see where this goes. So it is a gauntlet. I'm doing this for myself and then we'll see. Like you said, it might just be my parents that listen and hey, they're my ride or
No,
die from day one. And I'm grateful for that. So what'd you say?
it's gonna work. It's gonna work. I'll take it. I promise you it's gonna work. But sorry, go ahead. What were you say?
The last two things I do ask anyone who comes on is like Fan Friday. We talk about you have a seat at the table. I would love for us to have tables that are just so long that people can sit at forever.
Yeah.
I love to grub. I love it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be fancy. If you're bringing steaks, great. But you have a seat at the table. What are you bringing and who are you bringing with you? So what piece of food are you bringing and who are you bringing with you?
It
Or
has to
one
be it has to be food that I have to bring?
Oh, okay, come on. Drink? Toys?
I
What are you
mean,
bringing to
no,
the
I
table?
don't know. Yeah, and I'm gonna relate. I don't follow the rules, right? I'm gonna take your table. I'm gonna bring you a new table, and it's gonna be 5 times the size. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, like, this is your table, but I just wanted to make my improvement to the table." And, like, I'm a scale guy, so, like, I know you only invited me, but there's a bus full of my friends here, and they wanted to come eat with you, and I want
Oh,
them to know you, and, I know that you might not have space and room at your table. So I also brought my own table, like that's now your table. And I don't know if we're getting invited back next week, but I actually got a second bus because there's a few more that like couldn't come
well,
and we're gonna build another table. So that's just like that's like what I would do. And I wouldn't bring you food because it'd be like, hey, I wouldn't eat that. Like I killed it and then I cooked it and like I wouldn't eat that. Like I wouldn't eat my food. I wouldn't eat my food, but I want to hang out. And who am I bringing? Yeah, I mean, I'm bringing my wife for sure, but then I think we've been talking about this. I've been talking about this with her, and like I know who the bus full of people are that I'm bringing you, and there's 130,000 kids in America that don't have a roof over their heads or are hungry, and it's like, yeah, those are our kids. Just so you know,
yeah.
like those are our kids, and like so long as they're out there, like we got work to do. Right. And there's a mission that is meaningful and we're gonna go figure it out because and I'm gonna really cuss here, Becca. If we're gonna raise trillions of dollars for AI that's going to go kill other people and you can't feed the kids, like you can get banned. Like you can rearrange the tax code. And if you don't do it, mother effer, I will. Like I don't tolerate it. I say no. I just say no. I say no to kids starving in this country. That's stupid. And to those of my fellow capitalists, they're like, well, they should work harder. It's like, nah, shut up. You shut up and go think about what you just said because that's not true. I understand why your simple mind thinks that's true. And I'll stop. I'll be a little curious. Like, I'm going to be very curious with you, but I expect the answer to be you haven't thought very long and hard about the statement that you just made. So, anyway, I know we're at time and I do have to go, but I would love to bring you on for 90. I think we're better at this together than we are alone. It's just like as soon as you said that. So I'm trying to do the same thing. I think it would be interesting to explore how to make your table. Have you ever heard the like 1 + 1 = 4? Have you ever heard that statement?
No,
Yeah,
I'm in
let's see
simple
how we.
math, okay? I'm in
Yeah,
simple math with my kids. We're just
I,
trying to teach Marcus that 2 + 2 does equal 4 and 1 + 1 does equal 2, so you're gonna have to expand my brain.
yeah, we won't have him listen to this, but there is 1 + 1 can equal 4 if you do it the right way. So that's my thing. So this is really life giving, and I don't think this was a coincidence, and it could set a lot of really good conditions.